It's time to budget for August. Hi and welcome back. I'm Kamika and this is Well Balanced Wallet, where I help you create healthy money habits and live a life that you love on your current budget. Today we are going to budget for August. I can't believe summer went by so quickly, even though it's still gonna feel like summer for a few more months in Georgia. School's about to start back, and in a few more months our student loan payments are going to be due again, so I'm not looking forward to that. But let's get into the budget for August. If you notice here that my screen looks a little bit different than it usually does, that's because Ynab had an update and they changed a few things around, and so the to be budgeted section is now called ready to assign. Also, if you notice, I have $635.49 here ready to assign, and I also have my $3,500 here in my buffer category as usual. The reason for this is because we had a 3 paycheck month in July and we live on last month's income. So I had a few things that I wanted to do with our 3rd paycheck. So I went ahead and did those things and saved money where I needed to save it. And this is what we have left. So before I get started with budgeting for August, I want to go ahead and assign the $635 to a few places just to get that out of the way and work with a clean slate of our $3,500. So let's see. This is money from our 3rd check, which we don't usually get. So it kind of doesn't have a job at the moment, but we have a few fun things coming up in the next few months, or during the fall months, I should say. So let's take a look at our lifestyle and sinking funds categories. Okay, so we have a trips category, and I mentioned last month that we do have a trip coming up in September, but my husband and I just decided to go see Hamilton in October, and we're super excited about that. So the first amount of money that I want to assign is money for our Hamilton tickets. The tickets are going to be $406. So I'm gonna put, let's do $410 here. And I'm putting it in my trips category because we are gonna have to travel. It's not in our city, but it's not too far away. So we're gonna travel, but we don't need a hotel room. We don't need anything spectacular. It's not a long drive, and we can drive home afterwards. So the only money that we should need is for trips and food if we decide to do that, but we have plenty of time to save that. I do want to go ahead and purchase the tickets though. So $410 for our Hamilton tickets. And I think I'm going to make a note so that I can remind myself that $410 is for Hamilton, and the rest of the money in this category is going to be for our trip in September. So I just made that little note for myself since I'm using the same category. I don't like to clutter up my budget with a ton of categories, so we're just gonna sit that there, put my note to myself. Okay, so we have $225.49 left. If we take a look at the medical category, you guys know that I like to keep $600 in here because I know that from time to time we're gonna have medical bills come up. That's just where we are. So last month we had quite a few medical bills, and I'll talk about that a little bit in next week's video for the debt snowball update. But that depleted the category down to $116.86. So I think what I'm going to do with this $225.49 is to put it here in our medical category. And this might change when I get into the budget for August, but for now, this is what we're gonna do. Okay, so now all of our extra money is assigned. Let's go back here to our buffer category and zero that out. Let's start with our phone bill. And let's see, last month we spent $78.91. So let's go ahead and do that same amount for August. For our internet, it was $91.33. So we'll do that again. These bills pretty much stay the same. Electricity was expensive last month. It was $231, and that's just because we're in Georgia. It's hot. We need to run the air conditioner a little bit more. So I'm going to do, let's just do $230. And if we reach that amount for August, I may have to borrow money or move money around from another category, but that is why I love budgeting, because it's flexible and we get to move money around when we need to. So for now, I'm just gonna put that at $230. Okay, for gas, we usually do $150. We don't always spend $150. Last month we spent $112, but I like to start off the month with a good $150 just to make sure that we have gas to do everything that we need to do. Okay, water. This one doesn't fluctuate terribly, but it was up a little bit higher last month, and then maybe because we had some company, which means more people were taking showers and washing hands and things like that. So I think I'll do 65 just to be on the safe side, and at the end of the month, if there's anything left over, I will assign it to another category or just move it up to my ready to assign for the next budget month. Next is car insurance. This one doesn't change at all, so $97.36. Life insurance, so that doesn't change, it's $31.88. Student loans are not due at this moment, so we're gonna leave that blank. Gym, I just like to leave $15 in here just in case we want to drop in on a class that's like $5 or $10 or anything like that, so that is there. Apple Music is still very much a catch-all category for most of our subscriptions that we have outside of our internet. I don't know, it's still pretty high to me. I'm going to go with the average assigned for now, which is $31.69. Hopefully that is enough, but like I said, we can always move money around if we need to towards the end of the month. Okay, debt snowball, we're gonna leave blank for now. Mortgage, we do $12.87, which is the $12.12 for our mortgage, and $75 towards principal only. So there's that. Home maintenance and repairs. So what I do here is every time we get paid, I go ahead and put money here before I assign it to our buffer category. That way I'm adding some money from every single paycheck from myself and my husband every month to go towards home maintenance and repairs. So that's already funded for August. I honestly don't use this category, so what I'm gonna do is hide it. When you just click on it and click hide, I don't want to delete it because there are some transactions there from a few months back when I created the category, and I don't want those to get messed up and my budget to be out of whack. So we're gonna hide this. Okay, and let's see, groceries. So I have money in here from July, and the reason why is because July kind of fell funny, so we have one more week of grocery shopping where it'll still be July right before August starts, so that's why we still have the money here. So I'm just gonna ignore that and put in my normal $330 for groceries. Restaurants, we usually do $150. Oh, look at this. Last month we spent $148.35. So we were right on target. So I'll do $150 here. And move down to our lifestyle category. For our spending, you know, we do $25 each. Household goods, I think I like to do $100 here. Looks like we spent a little bit more than $100 last month, but that's okay. I like to put $100 here to start. Miscellaneous, so this category has $176.72 in it because I got reimbursed for a few things that we bought in July, and the money, when you get a reimbursement, it'll go back into the category that you spent it from. So I think this is fine. I'm just gonna leave that here for miscellaneous so I don't have to add anything extra. Entertainment, last month we spent $67. I'm gonna go ahead and put 100 just to have a little bit of wiggle room for our entertainment if we find something that we want to do. For the moment, last month we spent $88. I'm gonna do 100 here as well. Okay, so now we're getting down to the sinking funds. So for my challenge, we are in August and the amount is $225. So I'll put that here. My Christmas account, we put money here from every check. Okay, so we have $381.83 left. Let's see. I kind of want to get this medical category all the way up to 600. Yeah, let's do that. So instead of doing math, I'm just going to zero it all the way out. And then I'll put plus 600. And that'll do the math for me. So now I have a good even total of 600. And we have $124.18 left. So we've already put money for trips. And then we have that money for Hamilton here. So I think it's okay to, I kind of want to split this money between the new car and the debt snowball category. So let's do that. Let's do 60 here. And then we'll go back up to the debt snowball category and do this 64.18. And all of our money is assigned. I think this is a good budget to get us started for August. Of course, there's always going to be changes. We make changes every single month. The budget rarely stays the way it is when I do these budget with me videos, but I like to get a good head start before the month, and when it's time to move money around, or if I need to move money around, or if something comes up, then I am able to be flexible. So let me know in the comments if you've already done your August budget, and also let me know if you had to move any money around in the month of July and how that affected your budget. That's all for this video. Be sure to give it a like, subscribe, and click the link on your screen right now for more Well Balanced Wallet content. See you there.